As San Francisco is often called a city of dreams, its hills, its skyline, its bridges, these are symbols of wealth and opportunity. Yet, behind the postcard views, there is a different city, one built not on success, but on struggle, heartbreak, and survival. In neighborhoods like the Tenderloin and Summer, the line between public space and private suffering has disappeared. Sidewalks have become stages for addiction, invisible to those who rush past in their cars or on their way to a meeting. People run against walls, inject drugs in broad daylight, and collapse a few moments later. They appear motionless, almost hollowed out, eyes staring past reality into something no one else can see. The smell of fentanyl, chemicals, and waste hangs heavy in the air. It mixes with the stench of urine and the lingering fog that rolls in from the bay. Walk this street for a while and the smell becomes a constant companion. It clings to your clothes, your skin, your memory. You cannot escape it, and yet, for those living here, it is something they endure every single day. Behind the suffering are people who profit from it. Drug dealers operate openly. They watch lives being destroyed around them and continue to sell without remorse. If you distribute a substance that has contributed to thousands of deaths over the last few years, you are not just breaking the law, you are taking part in a slow, quiet massacre. Every dose sold is a life at risk. Profit has replaced conscience. San Francisco's overdose deaths are quiet, almost invisible. People have become accustomed to seeing bodies slumped over on sidewalks. They are breathing shallow, hearts stopped by fentanyl. Paramedics come and go. They revive someone, sometimes the same people twice in one night. Then the cycle repeats. For those addicted, each day is a fight for life. For those selling, it is just another day for business. Fentanyl is a cheap, it's powerful, and it is leather. It numbs pain, yes, but it also strips away what makes us human: emotion, connection, hope. For many, addiction starts small, a means to escape trauma, heartbreak, or loneliness, but it ends with the people standing lifeless under city lights, shadows of who they once were. Yet, these people did not choose this life. They are people like you and me, workers, veterans, parents, students, dreamers, all pushed into corner by circumstances beyond their control. A lost job, a medical emergency, a rent increase that spiraled out of control, a relationship ending. This event, small in isolation, compound over time until survival itself became impossible. In neighborhoods like the Mission in Bayview, luxury condos lies above sidewalks lined with tents. City workers sweep the street in the early morning, washing away evidence of human suffering. And yet, the people beneath traps wake each day with the same question: where can I go that is safe tonight? Where will I sleep without fear of violence or theft? Families in old RVs parked beside the bay where luxury, young, laced veterans, once proud in uniform, now fight the cold night. With donate brackets, every day begins with a challenge to survive. Some find warmth near bus exhaust or under dim streetlight, trying to be less invisible. Yet sleep is laid, suffering fragile, and peace fleeting. Many of those living on the street once had jobs, careers, and ambitions. Some worked in the restaurant serving Silicon Valley. Others had offices just blocks away from where they now sleep on cardboard. They didn't choose homelessness, they ran out of options. Step by step, the city that once promised opportunity pushed them out, leaving them behind in plain sight. San Francisco's housing crisis has roots that run deep. Skyrocketing rents, restrictive zoning laws, gentrification, and inequality all combine to create a perfect storm. A one-bedroom apartment now costs over $3,500 per month. A median home is well over $1 million. Wages for services workers, bus drivers, and cleaners have barely kept pace. For many, survival is no longer a matter of luck, it is a matter of privilege. Mental illness and addiction complicate the crisis. Nearly 40% of unhoused residents struggle with these issues, untreated, unsupported, and often invisible to the systems that should help. They are trapped in a cycle that grows heavy every day. The racial dimension of this crisis cannot be ignored. Africa Americans make up a small percentage of the city's population, yet represent a disproportionately higher number of people experiencing homelessness. This is not coincidence, it is consequence. Generation inequality, systematic barriers, and historic marginalization are written into the street of the city, and they continue to shape who ends up with a roof over their head and who does not. Despite billions spent on programs to combat homelessness, the program persists. Initiatives like the Key to Home program promised housing for thousands. Californians' Home Key 3.0 converted motors into housing units, and the profit served tens of thousands of meals weekly. Outreach teams distributed blankets, food, and medical care. Mobile mental health teams reached into neighborhoods trying to bridge the gap. And yet progress moves slowly. Landlords hesitate, paperwork drags, communities visit shelters near their homes. Bureaucrats and fear slow every act of goodwill. People remain unseen, lives remain at risk. Every cent tells a story. A veteran left behind, a mother dispersed, a dream deferred, a life quietly eroded by rising cost, and a system that prioritizes property over people. This isn't just a housing crisis, it's a crisis of humanity. At night, when San Francisco sleeps, the city's beauty becomes a backdrop for suffering, for lulls in from the bay, settling over tents and sleeping bags. Temperatures drop into the 40s, brackets and cardboard becomes armor. Sleep is late, suffering is fragile, and the silence is often broken by sirens, arguments, or the sudden sound of a person collapsing. Outreach teams driving through the streets in the darkness, handing out food, blankets, and medical assistance. But it is never enough. Shelter fills quickly, and many are left outside until sunrise. For those struggling, each night is a test of endurance, a reminder that invisibility is a constant companion. They are not statistics. These are human beings, parents, workers, veterans, and dreamers who once believed in the promise of a city that now seems to have forgotten them. Each face tells a story of resilience, heartbreak, and survival, and yet the system that should protect them often looks the other way. The roots of this crisis are not simple. They are layered and interconnected. Sky-high housing costs, gentrification that pushes workers' families out, lack of affordable health care, inadequate mental health support, systemic racial and economic inequality, addiction fueled by desperation and trauma. All of these forces intersect to create a reality where homelessness is not a choice but an inevitability for some. And still, amid despair, there is compassion. Volunteers serve meals, hand out brackets, and provide conversation to those who have not been spoken to by name in months. And prophets carry the weight of humanity in this city. Outreach workers risk their own safety to connect with those living on the edge, offering help, guidance, and a reminder that someone cares. But the need far exceeds the resources, and every day more people slip through the cracks. The city spends billions, yet the crisis persists. The streets remain filled with people struggling to survive their lives and unfolding just steps from a billions dollars office in the luxury condos. San Francisco is a city of constructs. It celebrates innovation, wealth, and progress, and yet it allows thousands to live without shelter, dignity, or hope. Behind every tent is a life, a story, a name. Every person deserves to be seen, remembered, and given a chance to reclaim their humanity. When night falls over San Francisco, the skyline still shines, but behind that glow are thousands of people sleeping outside, under bridges, or on cold sidewalks. They are parents, veterans, workers, and dreamers, people who once believed the city would lift them higher. Instead, they are left to navigate a world that has forgotten them. We tell this story not to shock, but to awaken, impact, because behind every tent, every sleeping bag, every empty gas, there is a human being, a life, a story, a name, and every life deserves a dignity.